everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Positivity Circle of April. It's April 1st, and there has been no fooling around over here for April Fools because somebody is like in creamy mode over here. So Creamy 3 is in the works. She has been doing ice cream involved things all day long at some type of another. How have you been doing, Sangeeta?
I am doing fine. I'm glad that we are here again on our positivity circle. But things have settled down for me after a crazy few weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Good. I'm anticipating that might happen for us in April. I'm waiting for things to just kind of
It is the big 60th birthday month for Kathy.
it is, and I'm trying to write a book. So, and we're traveling all month.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's true, and I need this positivity circle because I find that when too many things are going on and I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's very easy for my mind to go in a not positive direction. I don't know if anybody else finds that. Like, my knee-jerk reaction is like, I've ruined that, or, like things that you would never say to other people. So I'm just trying to be calm as I can be, which is not very today. And like with little things like Restream messed us up a little bit, possibly. Restream messed me up earlier today, and so it's hard when
AAA sent a guy to work on your car that had to look up YouTube videos the whole time trying to get the car started, which made me very incredibly nervous. But I am extremely happy and feel great that he was able to do it and was able to get the car jumped off. So
it has been just seriously a crazy day. I have literally gone to 7 different stores this morning to get ingredients for my cookbook. And I'm just ready for things to just settle down today. Do you want to talk a little bit, Sangeeta, about the Positivity Circle for anybody who's new?
Yeah, sure. So we have been doing this positivity circle for since December now. And of course, we have crazy lives, we have busy lives. There are things that are going on overall in the world, with conflicts, with wars, with threats of annexations, with a lot of other things. It is hard to be positive. And so we need this specially allocated time to be together and have some focus on positivity to energize us to face the challenges of our time. And that is a part of the self-care. We need to care for ourselves first so that we can help others. And this was started first in person at my house. And then when Kathy and I met, we started it online. So I welcome everyone. So, Kathy, can I start with some thoughts to get us started, and then we can have uh, some more reactions to it, and maybe contributions from our viewers in the chat.
I would love that.
that
That would be
sounds amazing.
delightful.
Okay, great. So, my thoughts for today: when we look at the stars in the night, their light reaches our eyes, traveling through the distance of millions of light years of space. So much light travels through space, yet the space remains dark. Have you ever noticed that or thought about it? Light requires a medium to shine, and we and our eyes are that medium. It is so important to be that medium. The moon can light up the dark night by being that medium that reflects the sunlight. There is no light without the medium. One doesn't have to be big or mighty to be a medium. Even a small particle of dust can be that medium. So let us not doubt our ability to shine. And when we say medium, it is not enough for us to be the light for others. We need to shine on others so that our light can be seen and shared and experienced. And that's why we have to do this together. We have to be together. We have to hold each other up. So, with that thought, let us see what we all think as a group.
I really like what you said too, because I do find, and we've talked about this before, when I get into backed into a corner, or feeling overwhelmed, a lot of times it is very helpful to kind of say, because you think, oh, everything's bad, but you don't think about shining your light out there. It's much easier for me to think about talking to other people or helping other people. And so today I went live and did an unboxing because I needed to make milk anyhow. And also I knew that would connect me to the outside world a little bit and give me a little boost. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really, really good. What I'm seeing in the comments, a couple of things. At first, Serenity Bloom says, Positivity Day, yay! And she's having some issues. She's 54 and just lost her job again.
Oh.
And so she says life is terrifying at this point, but thank goodness for us. And Lisa also says it's very hard to be positive these days. And one of the things that I said last time, I think it's been a couple of times now because I was too sick to talk for a while, is I'm doing my best to take in as little news as possible. With my curious mind, it is not possible for me to take in none, and that probably wouldn't be super healthy either. But I do find that if I'm going to go on the news several times a day, it unbalances me. So kind of like what you said too, to let your light shine, I think also is taking an active part in how your day is going. And I think that, you can talk about kind of losing your job as well. And in the moment, it doesn't seem positive. In the moment, some other things don't seem positive, just the way of the world. But we can still have hope that just because things are shaping themselves one way, it doesn't mean the pottery or the pot won't turn out a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Serenity, I would just like to say that, I was sitting where you are not very long ago, and I felt terrible. And every day it got better and better from people lifting me up and, telling me it was going to be okay. And at first you don't believe them. At first you're like, no, this is awful. You just don't understand. But then you start to realize that it is going to be okay. And people around you will lift you up. People around you will help you reach out to those people around you because they will be your rock for as long as you need them to. And then when you're ready to go on your own, they'll gently push you in the right direction and let you swim off on your own. So, take the help that people offer. It's a good thing.
And those of you that are watching, please do put your comments in. How did that strike you to hear that?
Yeah. There is an opportunity in almost every calamity, and the future belongs to those who see that opportunity. It's whatever it is, it's not going to stay the same, it's going to change. So let us stay positive.
And I do agree. And I think just using my situation, so I wasn't very positive earlier today. And I let myself kind of feel my feelings for a while and then did what I could do to move forward and then kind of reevaluate too. So I think sometimes when we're in tougher times, it calls for reevaluation more often. Do you,
I agree. I agree.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no, let's constantly, like, you're looking at things faster, right? Like, almost like at double speed of what you normally would. You make corrections, course corrections faster than you normally would, right?
I think, and Sangeeta, tell me if you feel this way. I wonder if some of it is just the speed that news and different things like that happen. Because, for instance, if I go on Facebook, which normally I go on just to look for work stuff and vegan food, so I might find something there or look in my email or, it's very interesting. I can innocently try to catch up on something else and then something will pop up. So I do feel like things are coming a little bit faster or in ways that they weren't before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is for sure. It is the world that we live in, and on the internet, everyone is trying to get our attention, and they're trying to hook us up. And that, the whole objective of hooking is to shock us, get our adrenaline going, and then we become stressed out from constantly being hooked and hooked and hooked and hooked. And how many times I catch myself doing doom scrolling. Just
So it's not just me. That makes me feel better. If
I was-
Sangeeta can get caught doom scrolling, then I can feel less shame about it.
Right?
Because I feel like obviously none of us have it 100% together, right?
No.
And that's important for all of us to know. That's even when I'm doing cooking things, I like for things to mess up so people can see things are fixable. Because it's much less stressful for me to know something's fixable than, oh my gosh, what if I break it? Right? What if I ruin it? And then that gets me in a different space. So I think for me right now, just being okay with being human too, to sometimes feeling overwhelmed and not deciding that I'm going to go, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overwhelmed. Because, it's very easy to play that tape and keep me there the same way you were saying on the internet, people are trying to hook us. I think sometimes the devious part of our brains are often trying to do the same thing, like, oh, you don't really want to do that. You want to watch TV. Or, oh, you don't really want to do that. You don't want to go take a walk. You want to be on TikTok.
I was just talking to my daughter, and I was telling her that our phone is the world's most powerful magnet. It just draws you in, and you can't get off of it easily. You have to be so mindful of it. And what happens is, we are one individual. Not all of world's problems are our problems. We have limited capacity to solve them, to focus on them. We are very limited in our individual capacity, but obviously everyone is trying to get your attention and trying to spend your energy on their problems, good or bad. I'm not saying we have to live in a bubble. But we have to be mindful of our own capacity to pay attention without getting exhausted.
I'm smiling because that is my issue a lot of the time. So I'm like,
Yeah.
because sometimes if I see something that I can solve, I'm more likely to say yes, even though I don't have the energy or the teaspoons left to do it. You know, sometimes that's my own doing, trying to do a lot for this cookbook before I leave on Thursday, right? So some of it's controllable, but some things aren't controllable. But if I say yes or no, that is controllable.
That's right. We can say, we don't have to always say yes or always say no. We can say, can I get back to you? Can I read this later? But of course, we have to keep in mind that those who are our family, you know, we need to pay more attention to them. That's our inner circle, our family, then our inner circle of friends. Those are the ones that we have to pay attention to. They are those for those of us who are parents. Of course, our children are our first responsibility, or you may have fur babies, or you may have human babies. So those who depend on us, they are our first responsibility. And we could get so caught up with all of world's problems that we do not have enough energy left or enough time left to look at what our immediate circle, our immediate family, our immediate community needs. And if you won't be there for their hard time, they can't be there for your hard time.
Now that's
And
a
yeah,
great point.
yeah.
Great
And
point.
of course, first take care of yourself. That is the first message.
It's always the first message, and it's always the one I need to hear the most, usually. I don't know about everybody else. There are a couple of things in the chat now. Serenity Bloom says, I love you guys so much, but I'm alone and speak with no one every day. No family or friends where I am currently, but thank you for your kind words, Cheryl. And go ahead, Sangeeta.
Well, I was going to say to Serenity Bloom, is there anything you could do? I don't know where you are, but is there anything you could do? Maybe get on next door if that's a possibility, and start, maybe if the weather is getting nicer like it is here, maybe find a neighbor to go on a walk. I started going on a walk with my neighbor once a week, and slowly we have become a group of 5 neighbors. And it started very slowly. A lot of people said no to me, but I kept asking. So I wonder if you could go out where you live and find something. Maybe there is a yoga class. Maybe you can start a yoga practice, or anything that you like, an art activity.
When I lived in New Orleans, I moved there when I was in my mid 20s. And that's about the time it's a little harder to make friends, right? So I was in a new place where I didn't know anyone. And I went to yoga class then. And actually, some of the people I met there, I'm still Facebook friends with, all this time later. And I found for me sometimes, because I was literally all alone, is that sometimes I would even just go to a coffee shop or even just being in a yoga class with other people and feeling that kind of community too. And depending on where you are, see if maybe there is a plant pod, or something like that. So there may be a nutritarian group or something, even if you're not exactly 100% fit. You know, maybe you do Dr. McDougall, you'll still find some new friends and you'll still be able to have some good potlucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I actually immigrated from India on my own, and my first job was consulting job where I kept moving from town to town to town. And if you move from a country like India where you never feel lonely, because you never are lonely, to a country like United States where everything feels like, is there a curfew in town? Why I don't see anyone? Um, and in those times, gathering around my hobbies like music, that is what gave me friends, and that is what kept me social. So I started learning music, and I started a small group of people who we came together and practice together. And that's how I got over my loneliness. And going to a public library is a great place. That is if you live in the United States, it's a great way to immediately find yourself among people. And they have lots of free activities there, that you can do.
I agree completely. And not only if your library isn't having a lot of things, if you wanted to even try and work with them to organize something like around whole food plant-based, or even just a positivity circle, you know, or something like that, or even just a 50 plus meetup group where people can just talk. Someone, I find sometimes it's nice to go ahead and have someone have something in common, though I've been known to just make friends at the grocery store. Like, I need so little in common to talk to someone. I'm like, I have that tomato planter and it works great, right? And then all of a sudden I'm making a friend. But like the library, I love the library for so many reasons. One is that you can go there and you can get books and all kinds of cool stuff, and you can be there and be amongst people, which when I'm very lonely, if I still haven't met anyone, somehow that soothes some of it for me. But like they have everything from like sci-fi groups to, we saw this amazing Native American chef speak. And it was free, and we got to learn all this cool stuff. So there's so many different things. I think that's an amazing idea.
Yeah, and don't discount your online community either. Even though a lot of us are in different places, we're all still friends, right? I mean, I've never been to Lisa's house because she's up in snow country, Canada, but you know, I still consider her a very good friend, and we just know each other online. You know, and Elizabeth is a huge friend of ours, and we actually spend time with Elizabeth, but she doesn't live right here immediately with us. Like, we still have to travel, 10 hours to see her. So, but don't discount that online family, because there's a lot of people that's their only community is online now. And if you go on the Heartbeat group, there's a thread that started where people were saying, hey, I'm in such and such and I'm looking for friends, and maybe you can go in there and say, hey, I live here, and see if anybody's near you, and that may be a way that you can make a connection with somebody closer.
Yeah. And
Yeah. And
go ahead.
sometimes you might have like a local fabric store, for example, or a hobby store, and they have classes. And there is Habitat for Humanity. You know, these are the things you can look into, where you help others, and in the process you help yourself. I gave a demo of how to make plant milk at the library. They're looking for people who can share their knowledge for free.
Yeah, and the library, like, I'm always floored when I've done stuff at the library, how many people show up and ask questions, and it's really neat. And even if there's a special interest you have, if you come to the library, they may help you set up a group for that. Like, I don't know, like if you're a quilter or if you're a gardener or something like that too. And Lisa says, I agree, online communities are fantastic. Mm-hmm. And that's something, when I went to New Orleans, that was really before online life existed. Because one of the things that is cool is that you can look up your library and find out what they're doing this month. Whereas before, I had to walk to the library,
Look at the board.
then walk to the other library to see what they were doing. So I think that's really nice. Now, Linda's been struggling with some health issues, and they've been keeping her from doing things that she's committed to, because she's having 4 or 5 medical appointments a week for months. And do you have any ideas for her?
Take care of your health first, obviously. See if you can find any meditation partners, because even though your ability to do anything physical might be limited, maybe some meditation groups nearby that you can go to, a Unitarian church. So you have to look. Sometimes even hospitals have chaplains that can help you connect with other people.
And the Unitarian Church is a great idea. Sorry, Fergus is fussing and wanting to come up. Because for those of you who maybe aren't involved in a religion of some kind, because if you are, then you're probably going there. What's cool about a Unitarian church is you can be atheist, you can be agnostic, you can be Wiccan or Jewish or Muslim or any of the religions, and you are welcome there. And I will tell you that Cheryl and I have gone to the Unitarian Church, especially when I was feeling like we needed to meet more people, kind of like-minded people. I find that they're usually positive. There's lots of events that are going on there. And Serenity Blooms is in Kauai, in Hawaii. So that I'm not sure exactly what island and all of that. He can come up. Just let him up.
Oh, we are so jealous of you, Serenity. I wish I was in.
Right? I know it can be harder when you're in a beautiful place like that, though. Sometimes you are more apart from people. And Elizabeth is saying, if anybody's looking for an online friend, please let me know. I'm always happy to meet new people and super passionate about the McDougall program. And I will say our friend Elizabeth is just the sweetest and just really, really nice person. And I'm really happy that we've become friends over the past, I guess, year. It's been over a year now. Woohoo! And Lydia's saying Fergus. I know Fergus is like,
he senses the upcoming trip.
and he also wants to be in the middle of the positivity circle, I think.
I guess
he loves to be.
He's feeling the positive vibes right now.
Yes.
He loves to be in the middle of lives lately. It's just kind of funny.
He's a good boy.
He is a good boy.
He's a good boy.
And he's being such a good big brother.
Yeah, and we're all sorry about your health issues, Linda, and that's really tough. But I do think meditation is a great way to go for that, because when you don't feel well, to me, like reading or just kind of being quiet sometimes can be really helpful. I think Fergus, I will say this, one of the things that does help keep me positive are Fergus and Freya, the cats. Because whenever I get kind of like caught up into stuff, they'll do something so silly and ridiculous that it can snap me out.
Or if you're on your phone and you're doom scrolling at night, looking at stuff you shouldn't be and should be going to sleep, he'll go get in between you and the iPad or the phone, and he will make you stop whatever you're doing and pay attention to him until you fall asleep. So he's good at keeping us in check a little bit.
He really is. Like, one of the things, if I go to bed, he comes and he lays all the way down my chest. And he just wants me to be quiet, and he reminds me to kind of quiet down, empty my mind, not just bring all of whatever I might have been stressing about. And I think sometimes animals get undervalued for how much they can really change things.
They can offer you unconditional love, really.
And it's kind of amazing. Like, even when I moved to New Orleans that time, I moved with my cats. And it made it a lot easier for me. And I always say Fergus is kind of like a husband cat. I had another cat that I felt like he was like a husband cat. He's like, go to bed. You have to do this now. Kind of a little bit bossy. You've got to take care of yourself.
He likes to be. He loves to be the center of attention, though.
There, we can see that. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, Lydia, elections are stressful these days, very, very stressful. And those are not something we can ignore, because what happens there is going to affect us. So I don't always have answers, but I would say that have a community around you. That's the only way to get through anything. Our ancestors have gone through much worse time, but they've never done it alone like we're doing it alone. That is our problem. They haven't raised children alone. They don't go to didn't go to bed alone. They have done it together, but we are facing it all alone.
That's a very good point, too, because it feels that way sometimes. And I think, why does it feel that way? And I think it is because we're so cordoned off and we're more separated.
Well, I think a huge example is, like, we don't really know any of our neighbors. Like, we know one of our neighbors because she's our eye doctor and has been forever.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't really, like, we say hi, we talk to them at the mailbox, but we don't have that come on over for dinner connection, that come have a drink on the deck connection. We don't have that kind of community connection anymore. It's just like, hey.
Right. I think it makes it easier because some of our friends have moved out near where we are, friends that we already had. So I think that makes us lazy.
Maybe.
I can tell you that this kind of isolation is probably peculiar to America, like United States of America. In other cultures, people are more close-knit. Here it's like, it's not my business attitude more so than anything else. But I am trying to change that in the neighborhood that I live in, and I get everyone, lot of people that come to my in-person positivity circle are from the neighborhood. And then I have these walks that we go on, a weekly walk. Now we have 5 women. The new families, 2 new families that moved nearby, I roped them in, and they were all looking for that kind of an activity, and they easily joined. So this is a time where people are looking for it. If you ask, they might be more willing to join. And then I don't judge people. I know that some of them are Christians. I am pretty sure I'm not politically aligned with them, and that's up to them. We don't talk about it. We just we just are neighbors, and we do. There is a dharma called dharma of a neighbor, and in the Indian culture, and that's what I follow.
That
And
makes a lot of sense.
yeah, even in India, there are these apartment buildings or whatever. How there's constantly food being exchanged. If you run out of something, you don't run to the store. You first go to the neighbor. Do you have some sugar? Can I borrow it? And they'll do the same thing, so you don't feel bad about it. If you make something special, you'll take a dish to your neighbor, and they'll bring it to you also. So that that sharing, even in India, I remember that even when we traveled on the trains, like the overnight trains, everyone brought their food from home, and these random people who were in that coupe of like six berths, they all shared their food with each other, and they ate their dinner in the night together. They didn't know each other. It didn't matter, and that is somehow that thing, it doesn't exist in India, in the United States, and that's why people are so isolated.
Well, I think when I was younger, in my 20s, when I lived in South Carolina, there was that sense. There was a lot of that. It was almost like a Southern thing that you took care of everybody around you. So because I was, in my 20s, then a lot of the neighbors would like want to feed me or invite me over for dinner and things like that. And then we all became friends, and then I would go and do things with them, and I would watch their kids for them, and like I just we were just this tight knit community. And when Hurricane Hugo hit, that's when it all came together at how tight knit of a community we were, because that morning it was like the guys were out pulling trees off of houses. They were like, getting somebody out there to get the alligator out of the pond. I mean, it was just, there was us all this, and then everybody set their grills up, opened up their freezers, and just started cooking whatever they had, and just started feeding the entire neighborhood. And everybody would take a meal and like just feed the entire neighborhood, because it was like, we've got this going on. We're going to lose this stuff if we don't eat it. Let's just share everything. And it was a really amazing kind of feeling. And I felt a real sense of loss when I left South Carolina because of that, because it was such a close-knit community there where I lived. And it was just out in the middle of no man's land in a place called Tilly Swamp. But we all took care of each other.
Even when I grew up in Winston-Salem, we knew our neighbors, and everybody kind of did for each other as well. So I think that's something that's probably happened since then, since
Yeah,
the
I think
80s.
it's just
Something
gone
has
away.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's happened. It says in the 80s we had that, and then something has happened.
And sometimes, like when we were on Duke Street, it was a little bit smaller of an area, but we knew.
But we still had that same.
We knew a few more neighbors
Yeah.
than we do here, and like the guy across the street would always bring over gardenias when his gardenias bloomed.
And the folks behind us would always invite us over when they did pizza on their outdoor pizza thing.
Yeah.
And then Jamel and Brian next door, and it was just like
Right.
we kind of like we all just and we had a party one time, and the people who were supposed to bring the wine bailed at the last second. And the neighbors were like, I gotcha. They had just gotten married and had tons of extra stuff. And so they just started bringing stuff over, and it was just, that's the kind of feeling that I love with the neighbors.
Yeah.
So I think we need to start building that stuff again.
Yeah.
That build the trust, build the communities. Start smaller. I don't care if there is just two of us started first, and now we are 5. That's a progress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
definitely.
So shall we begin our Can we bring up the first image of the Earth in the galaxy?
That one.
Yes.
Yeah, there we are. Here is our image to get a perspective, to remind ourselves that we are the voyagers of an unknown journey on our spaceship, the Earth. It is a journey from one unknown to another. Nothing stays the same, not even the stars or the galaxies. The journey is not easy. It comes with struggles and hardships. The only way to get through it is to hold each other's hand. Let us whisper words of courage and kindness. Let us sing the songs of love. Let us be together in this circle. Let us take a couple of minutes of silence and meditate on positivity.
Mm, that's the best I can do.
All right.
Sorry, that's on my YouTube, so it went to cruising videos that I've been watching. That's what you're saying. But that was really beautiful. Next time, we'll see what we can do about downloading it to our computer, and then I'll be able to play it more properly. So sorry that you guys saw it in a little bit.
I loved it though. That was very cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Okay, so that reminds me the credit goes to NASA James Webb Telescope. That's where I downloaded those images from.
They're beautiful.
So it's the real universe.
It's good to be reminded how tiny we are.
Exactly. Let's not take ourselves too seriously.
Guilty!
Okay, so let's take turns saying positive things. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Hey.
I am feeling very positive today, especially because I feel so much better. I have energy, and I'm just like, I'm feeling very happy and unstressed about the upcoming trips where I'm normally like really like, oh my God, I got all this stuff to do, and I'm feeling very relaxed about it.
What did you do differently this time?
I didn't procrastinate. I had some things on my list that I needed to get done, and I just, as Kathy always calls it, I swallowed the frog and got them done.
Ate the frog.
Ate the frog, that's it. I ate the frog, and I got those done first thing. And I worked on like laundry. I didn't wait till the last minute. I've been doing laundry a little bit every day. So I'm actually caught up and in a really good space that I can actually pack tonight.
2 days early.
Yeah, which is amazing.
So,
That is amazing.
last time we talked about 4 kinds of calamities, and the last one was the one that we bring to ourselves.
That's me.
And so you worked on that. That's
I
great.
did. Yeah.
That's great.
I didn't want to be all like, ah.
It's good. That's really good.
I also don't want to leave at like, 3 o'clock in the afternoon again either. I would like to leave at early enough time that we can enjoy ourselves.
That would be lovely. What about you, Sangeeta?
Okay, so my funnest festival just happened. My most favorite festival, and it's the Indian festival of Holi. And I celebrate it with my neighbors. Most of them are not Indian, but I have gotten them interested, and I have shown them how fun it is. And so we had a little bonfire going, and then we had, of course, I had the colors, and I had food, wonderful vegan food and special delicacies that we make for Holi. And it's such a great community activity. And it welcomes the spring. It represents everything that the spring brings, the warmth, the colors, and the togetherness of it. And also, one thing about Americans is that they're very touchophobic. They don't touch each other much. Whereas if you go, like, coming from India, it's like I could have just a normal friend, and we could be like, holding hands, or like putting arms around each other's shoulders and walking, and nobody thinks anything of that. It's just a normal thing. you know and so that I feel like I take that inhibition away from people. Then you're allowed to like put colors on each other, and it's okay to throw colors or smear color on each other and touch each other. It's okay. And so that's what we did, and it's the most favorite festival that I look forward.
Oh, I would love to do that with you sometime. Like next year, let us know.
Next year, I will invite you.
Because that's like I've watched.
We've watched videos.
We've watched videos of it, and then I had some of the guys that I used to work with used to talk about it, like when they were back home, how fun it was, and so I've always been interested in that. So I would love to experience that.
Yes, next year.
What? It's just such a neat holiday anyhow, that kind of color doesn't matter. We're all the same. Mm-hmm. And I that's just and then you get to throw stuff, non-harmful stuff, and so it seems like it's a lot of fun and a lot of play involved with it too. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
You guys who are watching, please go ahead and give us some of your positive stuff. I'm seeing a couple of things. One was saying, thankful our election campaigns in Canada are short, so we only have the daily election stress for another 27 days. I am totally jealous of that.
I am so jealous of that. Oh my God.
I think there should be a law that election campaign cannot start like only 30 days before the election. There
Well, they don't
literally
ever
it should be.
they just go on continuously. They don't ever stop here
They
now.
never stop. Yeah.
That I do. I see that for sure. And then I'm going to take this one from Lydia as a positive. We've lived in the same house for 37 years and we don't want to move because we have good neighbors.
That's awesome. Hey, Obs is here.
Yay.
Hey, Obs.
And Obs always has, like, she brings the positivity to the party.
She does.
Those of you who don't know Obs is she had a traumatic brain injury a long time ago and was not expected to live. And so she does her motivational minute-ish every single day on YouTube. And just it really is like a minute-ish quote and just something to think about. But like, it's so interesting. Like, I find her inspiring because she works every day to bring something positive out into the world. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep. And also, she's another person that we consider a really great friend. Mm-hmm. And we don't get to see very often, but when we do, it's like homecoming and all hugs and haze, and we have such a good time together.
Yeah, and I would say too, don't discount finding really close friends in odd places.
Yeah.
Because from the pandemic, when we were really isolating, even more than normal, that's when I joined Doc's video group, which is how we met Obs and Luis and Gretchen and a lot of people Alicia that we see all the time and sometimes show up here to support us. And it does mean the world.
Yeah. I mean, they were all so instrumental in helping me when I lost my job. Like, immediately they were all like jumping in with their 2 cents and what they could do, what I could do going forward. Like, they were like, you're good at this and you're good at that. And they kept me uplifted, and it was very helpful.
And someone was asking Simply Obs channel. It is Simply Obs. It all one word is
At
her
Simply Obs.
Yeah, is her channel. So go hang out with her there. And I'm trying to think of what. I think just being here and being in this group and getting to recenter myself is the most positive thing for me today. As Sangeeta knows, I was like a hot mess before we started this. Like, I'm trying to clean the kitchen. I just made 8 pints of ice cream. I went to 7 stores today. So I've been just a whirlwind of trying to get things done before vacation. And before that, like yesterday, I was really letting some things build up and stress me out. One of the things that I was doing was holding it inside instead of sharing it. So talking to Cheryl about it took some of that pressure off. Asking for help with the things I need help with. Mm-hmm. You know, those are hard things to do, especially when you feel like you've done something wrong. And by that, I'm just like maybe made a bad decision. Not like you've robbed a bank or something, but you know, like sometimes it's easy to get into that minutia. And so in talking to another friend and Cheryl about it, then I'm like, oh, because like I had gotten to the point where I was like, well, what if I've ruined our lives? It's pretty much what I was saying. It's like,
I'm like, you didn't ruin our lives.
Right, and everybody's like, no. And I'm like, oh, I just need to get this book out in the world. The book, there's another 2 books I have to write. One, I thought I was going to write the end of last year, and it's weighing heavily on me. So what I need to do is just take action and get the first book out.
She gets very negative and down on herself if she gives herself a deadline and then she misses her deadline, and then it's like, it's crazy. Like, she gets so like down on herself.
Well, I'm meaner to me than I would be with someone else, which is why when we come to this positivity circle and hearing you always reminding you can't do everything for everyone, but you can do something for yourself. And like right now, I'm not trying to do stuff for everyone, but then I have to go, oh yeah, doing stuff for myself is also an option. Right?
Yeah.
Which seems so simple, but that's the first thing I take off the table if I'm really busy.
Is you.
Is
Yeah.
me.
She never takes me off the table. Like, I'm always like, don't worry about me, but she will not worry about me.
That's
Right.
so sweet of you, Kathy.
But then she has to live with like a raving maniac, right? So that's super fun.
Oh, I have another positive thing that I wanted to add that happened to me today, just because I thought this was kind of amazing. So Kathy's car battery was messed up. We had the AAA come and they jumped it, and so I had to go drive it around. But I also had errands I had to do, like pick up cat food and cat litter and things like that. So when I got to the Petco in Chapel Hill, I was afraid to turn the car off. And so I was like, do I go in and then the car doesn't start, or what should I do? And then I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, well, I told Kathy if it doesn't work, just she could come get me. But then I was like, you know, my brain was going through all this, and so I picked up the phone and I called Petco. And the guy answered the phone, and I said, hey, I know you don't do curbside. However, I have an issue with the car, and I'm right outside the front door, and it would be great if you could bring it out to me. And he was like, absolutely, no problem at all. And he came out and he brought the stuff, and then he even said to me, you know, if you really want to come inside and look around, if your car needs jumped, I'll do that for you.
Aww.
And I thought that was very sweet. You know, he was just like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. But yeah, I was very like, that made my whole day, because I was so worried about your car cutting off, you know. And everything else I had to do, I could do without turning the car off. So,
Yeah, you know, people like it when you ask them for help and if they can help. I think it makes their day too.
I think so too.
I agree with you, because like sometimes somebody else may be having a bad day, and just knowing that they could do something really small, it's just and change somebody else's day is so powerful. Lisa says, I'm dealing with a car battery issue too. My car is in the shop and they're trying to figure out what's draining it. With mine, I don't drive my car enough. I have a Prius C, and I literally started the car excuse me, the day, some of this is pollen now, the day before, to make sure it was going to be okay for my friend to borrow. Then they came over while we were live and the car was dead.
Completely dead.
So it's just it's so strange. But
Yeah.
like Cheryl took that completely off my plate and dealt with it, and I didn't have to do any of it. And that was I really appreciated that a lot too.
Yeah. And I want to remind everyone that if you have a positive thing happen to you that you are unable to share, please write it down on a piece of paper. It's important to pay attention to good things when they happen. And also think about if you have any intention to set for this coming month, like you want to get something done, or you know what you wish for it to happen. It helps to have that intention.
Absolutely. It helped me. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I'm all like
See?
stress-free and ready to go. Gonna pack
See,
my
there
stuff.
you go. There you go.
Oh wow.
Great.
I'm ready for that. Well, thank you, as always, for coming into the community and bringing your giant ray of sunshine to all of us, because
Yes.
I know I appreciate it, and I know everyone else does too. And it's such a lovely practice to meet up once a month and try and remember who we are and what we really want to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It helps to like reset everything and come back, start the month with a positive vibe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Cheryl always says that she likes my Sanskrit chants.
I do.
So today, because I talked about light in the beginning, I will end with the chant about going from darkness to light, from ignorance to truth, and from life to eternity. And then I will also add one additional one about being together. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya asato ma sadgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
So beautiful.
Thank
That always
you.
makes my entire evening when you do that.
Thank you.
And Lydia says there's a lot of kind people in the world, and that is a thought that I want to keep really in the forefront of my mind, because there are, and most people will help you if you ask as well. Serenity Bloom says eternal thanks and gratitude. And Lydia says thank you so much.
Thank you.
And anything else you want to say before we end for this month?
So next one is also on the first Tuesday, which is the 6th, May the 6th.
Let me.
Let's take a look.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, May the 6th.
So great. Hopefully we will see you all then.
Great. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I wish you the very best, April, to you, Sangeeta, and everybody else watching.
Yes.
I wish you the very best as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, let's go out and do it. All right. Bye.